Peter Eliades with you. This is Thursday, October 10th. This is going to be fun today. So a lot of these things are fun. If you ever get this software, you will be amazed by it, and you will believe me, you will have a lot of fun. I I thought about calling this like the master class, but that's really presumptuous, and I'm not going to do that because I'm not anywhere near being able to teach you a master class. But here are some very interesting things that are happening. We're going to look at the weekly charts, even though there is one more day to go. When you get caught up with a very short term, the 27-minute charts, 65-minute cash charts, you've got the upsides and the downsides, and sometimes they're competing and whatever. What we have on the weekly charts, I believe now, is pretty clear. So let's take a look at them. This is the New York Composite Index. I don't know why I started with this. I wanted to start with the S&P, but let's start with the New York because that generally tends to be the most consistently accurate projection generator. As you can see from this, we're pretty well down below as of the close today with the median. Now remember, these dark lines that go from bar to bar are the mid prices from bar to bar. They're not the closing prices. So they are determined by taking the average of high and low for the week. Well, we already know what the high and the low are for the week so far. So we know in order to get back above this line sometime tomorrow, to have that median be above the red line, this is the number that's required. 12,975. You're talking about a 200-point move, about a little over 1.5%. That's a big move. So chances are that's not going to occur. And if that doesn't occur, then chances are you're going to see a downside projection. We'll discuss how important that might be in a moment. But let's take a look at the same offsets with the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500. Here's the same offset with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is the number that's required on the Dow to stay above this offset line. Now notice on the Dow, we're really, really close to being above it already. And the high for the week on the Dow is 26,655.84. So all you need to do is have a nice rally and get a little bit above that high for the week, and you would remain above this offset line, and the upside projection would remain in effect. This is on the Dow. Let's take a look at the S&P. Okay, remember we have this upside projection. It's calling for 30.52.26 to 31.03.40. And what is required to stay above, as you can see, you need to get a pretty good number up above here. You need to see the S&P get up to 29.85.05. Now, that's like a 47, 48-point move from today's levels. Chances are you're not going to see that tomorrow, but you could. If you do, then the upside projection remains in effect. But the important thing we want to point out is if you don't. If instead tomorrow's range is somewhere between the high and the low for the week so far, then we will have given a downside projection. And we can tell, just from what we've seen so far this week, what that downside projection will be. It will call for 2829.17. That's plus or minus 10%. So you take the high, which would be so far 3021.99, and you take the move down to 2829. You figure out how much of a move that would be, and then you just figure out plus or minus 10% for the move. But the important thing is this target right here, the 2829. Why is that important? Well, this is not the only upside projection that we have. The other upside projection that we have comes from the 20-week offset. And let's take a look at that right now. Oh, that's the 10-week. Sorry to hold you up on this. This, I believe, is the 20-week offset. Okay, here it is, and we've done something that I think is important here. So if we get that downside projection that not only invalidates the upside on the nominal 10-week, that's the 5-week offset, if we get that, and we'll know tomorrow if we do, and I gave you the numbers to watch to see if indeed that upside is invalidated, then we will have a downside projection to right around this level here, which is 28, 29 or so. So, in fact, let's go back and look at it. There it is, 28, 29, 17. That will be the downside projection. So all we did was take that number and put it on this chart. Now remember, the S&P has remained above this offset line ever since the projection was generated in early March of this year. So it's remained above it, came down close to it, remained above it. So we can still go down in the next week or two to this level. And again, I would remind you that this is a median line, a midpoint for the week. So you could get a week that goes comfortably below this as long as you have a high that's high enough above it to make this the midpoint for the week. What this is saying is this is the projection intraday for the market, plus or minus 10%. So even if you come down, even if we do generate the nominal 10-week projection and come down to this level, it's not going to give new and further downside projections, and the upside projection, more importantly, will remain in effect. And that calls for 31.13 rounded off to 32.83 rounded off. That's it in a nutshell. I could give you shorter term things, and maybe tomorrow for the weekend we'll do a longer update, give you short term projections so we can look at perhaps the intraday things. But this is the most important stuff that we're looking at right now. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. We're getting no comments. I'd like to see some comments. We've got a lot of thumbs up, which is nice. At least give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the updates. If you're not, let us know too. But if you're enjoying the updates, give us a thumbs up. Write some kind of the commentary, something you'd like to see, something you enjoy, something you don't enjoy. We'd really appreciate that. And encourage your friends to watch. You must know a lot of people that love the market. This is, I call it almost a toy because it's so much fun to work with. But this is a very serious market tool. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you on Friday with our weekend update.